Usaga. And I started Women in Tech Ghana at the time because I felt it was important to create the Girls Club. I wanted to bring women together. And I had a day job, you know, I ran a tech company, it's an amazing company, joy of my life. But I wanted to, from my experiences of being maybe one of the only women in the room, or being the only woman in the room, I wanted to bring the women together. Initially it was a few of us, networking, chatting, drinks, and then, I always look shell-shocked when I talk about it. And then it grew, and then it grew, and then now there are women in over 30 countries, 30 African countries. We have members from the sort of UK and US, but we sort of like, they're we are talking about, you know, but the more we think about it, the more we thought about it, the more we realize that the diaspora is also a very important part of the movement of what we're trying to do. My co-founder actually walked in. So everybody say hi. So actually, it's quite good that he walked in. He walked in right now because he was at the very beginning of Women in Tech Ghana, when we needed space, and sometimes when we needed sort of people to sponsor drinks and food. Josiah would put in his own money, would give us, because he's the founder of one of the innovation space in Ghana called iSpace Ghana. So he would give us this free space, he would introduce us to these people, and he would support us. And so when we became larger, I thought, you know, who else to be part of the larger team than Josiah? He's very interesting. You'll hear the things he has to say. I was supposed to go through this presentation, but I feel like I've said most of it. I don't know if you can see this. It says lionesses in a pride hunt together, meaning they are not only successful, but they are able to hunt and overpower the animals faster and bigger than them. And that quote for me resonates with what we're trying to do with Women in Tech, is that, you know, you're out there with your career trying to do amazing things, trying to affect your community. But when, you know, we're a larger group, we have a bigger voice and we can do more and we can help each other more. Sorry. So, I've touched on this already. So, we've got a threefold mission, or twofold really. So, help ourselves. I was telling someone the other day, everything else is big grammar. Right? If you're Nigerian or West African, you understand, everything else is big grammar. Basically boils down to helping ourselves and helping our community. Everything else is just sounds nice. Right? So helping each other grow, and then going out there and helping our community. That's the core tenet of what we're trying to do. Again, 30 countries, strategic partnerships with Women in Tech International, and sort of recruiting country co-founders or chapter leads as we go along. We actually can't do it fast enough. There's a long list of emails that we have people wanting to start chapters. We'll get there. It's a long list, and I think in 12 months we'll have a huge footmark on the continent. I saw this today, and I thought it was really. By the way, there are like some random pictures in there. Forgive me if you're not West African. A number of the jokes are slightly West African. But yeah, so this is what, you know, somebody who works in tech looks like. I saw this today. So today's been a very long day, and sort of, you know, conference calls and chatting and talking. I was a bit tired, and then somebody sends me this, and I thought, for a second I was like, oh God. And then I thought, but this is why we do it, right? That if in your Google searches you are not getting the sort of, even in the sort of the algorithms, you're not getting the kind of jobs that you should be applying for. That's a problem. And this is something that needs to be fixed. This is on the Telegraph, I read the whole article. I felt annoyed and everything. It was this very interesting emotion for me when I saw this. Because I thought, yeah. Anyway. And again, pictures, stuff we've done. So, Social Media Week Lagos, we're at Social Media Week Lagos. We've done events in Ghana. We recently did a joint event with USAID. International Women's Day, for which again Josiah paid for. We worked with a large number of women entrepreneurs, training them to use technology. So these were small and mid-sized businesses. How to use technology to run your business, from sort of CRMs to social media and things like that. So yeah, just a couple of pictures of stuff we've been doing. So the more we think about this, the more we think of the women that are part of the group as almost customers and clients. And our thing is adding value. And so this is sort of something that is growing in terms of our 4 thematic areas and the different projects we'll be doing as we go along to sort of grow that out. And yeah, so this is the team. This is the core sort of team now. Charlene is in Kenya. She is CEO of Sinacor Solutions. And then there's Josiah with his nice bald head. And then there's me. So this is the core team that sort of everything revolves around. So who gets this?
Yeah.
Right. How many West Africans are in the room? How many people understand jollof cakes? I'm about the jollof line. Anybody who understands this. And this is very important for those that don't get it. So jollof is it's a West African dish, which Jamie Oliver decided to play around with and came up with something that didn't look like our precious jollof. Jollof is important. Jollof is served at weddings, important occasions. Like when you have jollof, it's like, and Jamie Oliver wanted to, and this is one of the first times that Nigerians and Ghanaians online were sort of together. Because we're always arguing. But this is the one time we're like, you did what? Yeah, so I thought I'd put some random pictures in there. Otana was supposed to be here today, but she's not. So this is from, I think, one of our very first events. So Ethel on the side is the Google country manager for Ghana, and then Otama was the Microsoft country manager. And so for one of our first event in Ghana, we had these 2 women on a couch just chatting and talking to the ladies. And it was amazing. Otama has since left. She's actually in London now. She's supposed to be here, but she just emailed me going, oh God, can't make it. But she's not. She actually works for Vodafone now in Rashada. She's head of sales excellence for Vodafone. But I was heartbroken. But we have IBM has just announced their country manager, and her name is Angela. So I was like, yes. So we'll have Angela speaking at one of our events soon. Right. So I guess it's always has to be an ask in these things. We're saying if you're not a member and you like our mission and where we're going, join us. Because the larger we are, the bigger ones we have. Become a chapter lead. Because we're searching for a chapter lead in the UK, if you're interested in sort of the craziness of running events and running projects, become an opportunity creator, a supporter, and a role model. So that's that's one of the core tenets, right? So an opportunity creator means, for me, you know, a large, you know, most of the time somebody will email me and say, hey, I have a job role to fill. And I'll be like, oh, relax, give me 2 days, I'll have you 5 CVs. Or like a recruiter will say, I'm you know, recruiting for, you know, this tech job, but there's no women in the CVs that I have. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. Or last week, the Financial Times, the West African reporter of the Financial Times said, oh, I want to interview people in entrepreneurs. I'm like, oh, relax. I have a whole bunch of women that I can connect you to. I got an email this morning, somebody's moving to Ghana, and he's like, I'm looking for a job in tech. And I said, okay, just give me a couple of days, I'll send your CV around. So this is something that I do always, right? So be an opportunity creator, be a connector, be a role model, and, you know, support each other. I'm gonna leave it there. This is sort of banners from a whole bunch of events. And you'll see the iSpace banner almost everywhere in all our events. And I think that's about it. So check out the website. We're collecting content at the moment for sort of, the theme is My Dream, and the girls have written a lot of articles on My Dream, and basically going, where am I going? What do I want to, what's my dream? Where do I want to get to? What am I doing to get there? So we've got a lot of interesting blog posts from Benin to Kenya so check it out. It's really good and contribute. And yeah, so this is just so you know about women in Tech Africa. And we have amazing speakers. Rita, Josiah, Rashada. Lola was supposed to be here. Lola broke her foot this morning. So that's what I said. She did try. She was like, if they have disabled access, I was like, no child. But we have an amazing group of speakers, and there will be a Q&A. After that, let me show you a little video. Legends of the Red Land is a client and a friend. He is putting together comics and stories of historical legends, especially strong female characters across Africa. I think the ebook is out in a month or so. But I wanted him to come and talk about it. I think it's something that's interesting to all of us. So I think we get Rashada to come up first. Yeah. And because I don't have my sheet where I have everybody's bios, I'm gonna have to ask Rashada to. No worries. You sure? Yes. Just. No, you know, I apologize. Oh, make that easier for you. Sorry. Just introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Rashada. I'm currently director of a social initiative called Your Future Your Ambition. I do this in a voluntary capacity, but my day job I am an infrastructure specialist at Vodafone Enterprise. So what does that mean? What's an infrastructure specialist? 10 years ago I asked myself the same question. So actually, I'll give you a brief overview of my journey and how I got to where I am. So, born and bred here in the UK, South London. We're there. There's always one. I went to school in South London, and I grew up wanting to be a lawyer, actually. So I went to university, did a law degree, and did a master's in law. And at the end of it, I was exhausted. I wanted to see a law book again. I applied, I knew I wanted to work in business, I knew I wanted to be in an advisory role, and I was always drawn to technology. I absolutely love gadgets, how they worked, how things mechanically worked. So when an opportunity came to join a large US technology company, I thought, why not? It's a year abroad, living in Amsterdam, it's learning new technology, and I thought, well, I'll do that for a year, go back to law school, and that'll be me. So I joined a company called Cisco. I don't know if you've heard of them. I didn't quite know how big Cisco were when I applied, I must admit. I thought it'd be, a fun year abroad, living in Holland, that would be me. But it was a life-changing experience. I joined their really competitive graduate program. There were, if I remember correctly, 8,000 applicants for 10 places in the UK. And I was fortunate enough to be the top 3 selected to join, so I was really fortunate. I moved to Holland for the year, and I was part of a group of 44 students and graduates who were on this really intense technical training program. So I learned all about routers, all about switches, all about core infrastructure and technology. And as I said, I did law. I had no idea. I literally cried on my first week thinking, what have I done? But it was an invaluable experience. I learned so much in that year, not only about the technology, but about myself. Only because I was one of a few women selected to be on the course. Majority were men. None of them looked like me. None of them were from South London. None of them kind of could relate to me in any sort of way. So I was very much an individual in a highly competitive situation in a foreign country. So I completed that program for a year, and I was offered a job in Cisco's UK organisation. I became an account manager looking after the commercial business. I had serious targets on my head. I had 50 million to do in my first 2 years. Thankfully, I can say I did it, but it was a lot of determination and a lot of work. So, to Ethel's point earlier about kind of being a woman, being a black woman in a kind of highly competitive industry, not only that, but it's heavily male-dominated as well. Kind of, how do you find your feet? How do you kind of find your ground and establish yourself as not only an individual contributor, but someone of value and can actually bring something to the table? For me, it was quite a difficult challenge. I'm quite an outspoken person by nature, but I found myself in the city, a lot of egos, male-dominated. When I come into a meeting and they think I'm the tea lady and ask me to get them 2 teas. And the reality was, I was like, well, no, Cofie is around there, you get yourself one. But that's the kind of challenges I was up against. And I think, as women, we definitely have to encourage each other. I joined the UK organisation at Cisco, and I stayed at Cisco for 9.5 years in the end. I did go back to law school, but I found that I really love technology. So I guess when you get into a situation like technology or into a new role or a new environment, when you are the only person, stay true to yourself, understand your core values. It was really at my time at Cisco that I thought about, why is there no one else that looks like me here? Why am I the only female in Europe in a global role at Cisco? That's that to me is unacceptable. So I met with a few colleagues at Cisco, and a mentor and a friend of mine, in light of the 2012 Olympics, had an idea to start a social enterprise to get more ethnic minorities and also women into STEM-aligned careers. So looking at science, technology, engineering and maths. And Cisco at the time of the Olympics were a premier sponsor. So we reached out to some of the other premier sponsors and said, look, can we do something together to help empower young people to get into STEM careers, to show them the opportunities that STEM careers afford? Because I don't know what it was like when you guys were at school, but it was literally doctor, accountant, lawyer. That was the 3 careers we had. I didn't really know what studying science, physics, chemistry, or any of the sciences, chemistry, etc., would kind of take me towards a career in technology. So after the conversations with a few of the organisations, Your Future, Your Ambition was formed. And I'm going to talk to you briefly just about the journey we've had and where we are so far. Feel free to ask questions if you like. So in 2012 in Light Olympics, myself and a good friend of mine, Josiah Eyison Co, we formed Your Future Ambition, and the sole purpose of it is to encourage, excite and educate young people into STEM careers and to kind of show them the types of roles they can have when they decide to go down the technology route, for example. We held our first event at Cisco House Structure, which overlooked the Olympic Park. We invited 250 students to come along, and we had about 14 different organisations, ranging from Ernst & Young, BP I think were there, Bank of New York Mellon, and the purpose of the students coming to meet these organisations was not as a careers fair, look how great our company is, it's there's someone there that looks like them, there's women in senior positions there, and it's to kind of guide and show the young people, you know, if you're doing this and this at school or university, this is the kind of career you can have. And also, we did at that event was to show them different activities to say, well look, while you're at school, age 7, because we start from age 7 up to graduates, and you're doing these kind of activities at school, this is what it could lead to, and this is what your interest could give you. So, you know, we had over 40 volunteers on the day, we had 18 different science, technology, engineering and maths activities, and then we had a key stakeholder event in the evening. We invited the CEO of National Grid, a guy called Stephen Holliday, and he presented at the event the importance of having women in technology roles, women represented in technology companies, and doing really not just the day-to-day stuff, but the senior and managerial positions within different organisations. And he challenged myself and Tunji that day to continue this legacy in light of the Olympics. So we're now going into our 5th event next year to be held at the Emirates Stadium. So we've gone along quite a long journey, but last March, just March has gone, we held our 4th event. We had 650 students come through the door. We had 21 different organisations represented on the day and 200 volunteers. And this is all, as Ethel mentioned earlier, to give back to the community, to show the younger generations, look, this is a job I'm doing today, but this is how you can also do it. My personal ethos in life is that I have 2 hands, one to help myself and one to turn back and help someone else behind me. And I think that is something that we should all try and do a little bit of in order to kind of help the younger generation move forward. Thanks. So these are the organisations that we had represented at the event this year, and next year, as I said, will be our 5th year going back to the Emirates Stadium, where we're hoping to have up to 1,000 students and volunteers represented. Thanks. So what is the impact? I mean, why do we do this, and how is it impacting the younger generation? I can safely say that we've had over 2,000 students come through our doors since we first started this initiative. We make sure that every child that comes in has the opportunity to get mentored by an individual within any of the organisations that are there. And we've had 620 students mentored either by an individual at the organisation or through contacts they've met through the Your Future Ambition community. We definitely want to raise awareness of what we're doing, so we're on social media, and we've been shortlisted for a number of awards, including the National Diversity Award, both for 2014 and also for this year. Certainly for next year, it's the Big 5, so we're hoping to get at least 700 students through the doors and represent over 50 schools. Any questions so far? Okay. What's important for us is that because our event, the students that attend our event are as young as 7 years old up to graduates, we've got a long wait to see the impact that we've got. But certainly this young lady, Abiola, she came to our event in 2012 as a student. She met Ernst & Young at the Your Future event, and she was so inspired by what she saw, the types of people that were there, people that looked like her in really senior positions, that she actually applied for a job, and we're happy to say that she's now working for Ernst & Young, and she did that on the basis of coming to an event like Your Future Ambition. So I would definitely encourage any of you, if you have a dream to be in technology, you have aspirations to do it, I definitely think there's help and support out there. But similarly, if you get that support, share it with everyone else in your circles. Next slide. Thanks. Ola is actually the student mentee from Your Future Ambition. As I said, we want to make sure that every child and every student that comes through, or young adult that comes through our doors, has the opportunity to be mentored. We have a wealth of knowledge that of individuals that come to our event, very senior status within the respective companies. So we make sure that students have the opportunity to be mentored, but also have the opportunity to continue that mentoring relationship. It's not just a one-off, it's an informal thing, but it's carried on for at least a year as a minimum. And what we ask is that if any of you would like to be mentors for women or any of our students, then absolutely reach out, because we're always looking for mentors. Thank you. So the things that we do, the things that we try and provide each year is a different theme. So the theme for next year is Rising Higher. And we want to make sure we don't just provide career opportunities for anyone who wants to get into technology, but we also provide kind of guidance on the softer skills that are required. So how to dress for the office, how to present yourself when you're pitching for a job promotion at the company you're in, how to ask for that position, how to build your CV, how to conduct yourself in an elevator pitch when you meet the CEO of a company you're trying to work for. So these are the kind of softer skills we also try to help develop in our students and attendees. We also have leadership development. We don't just see people, not everyone wants to be someone as part of a team. I think we want to be leaders, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, people want to kind of stand on their own 2 feet and lead, and we definitely want to help support that in the technology and science arena. So we provide leadership training as well on the day, and you know, it's open to everyone. Obviously the focus is for more women to be in STEM, but it's open to men as well, and you know, we welcome everyone to come along. You'll get to meet role models from industry, you'll get to meet senior directors that look like me and you, you'll get to have one-to-one conversations with them. So for us it's really important that you have that one-on-one time, you have that one-on-one dialogue, so you can have a more informal and personal conversation as opposed to just being spoken at. Okay. So how do we use technology? As I said, when I joined Cisco, I had no idea what a router was, what a switch was, what telepresence and video conferencing. I had no idea. I had absolutely no clue. And what we tried to do at the event as well is showcase the technology that the companies are using. So I don't know if any of you guys know what telepresence is. Have any of you guys know what telepresence is? Okay, so it's a video-enabled technology that will enable me sitting at my desk to be in London and talking to someone as like a normal Skype conversation would look like, but that person could be in Nairobi, that person could be in New York, and we'd be talking to each other like we're in one place, in one room. So that's the use of technology that we showcase, and you can see at the bottom here, there's an example of that we showcase at the event. So it's just getting the kids and the young people to understand the breadth of technology that's out there, how it can be utilised for business, and how they can get involved in developing that when they join organisations such as ours. We also want to link this back to Africa and link this back to other continents. So using technology like telepresence, we are going to be enabling, in light of the 2016 Olympics to be held in Rio next year, we are going to be linking the Cisco office in Rio with the Emirates Stadium in London and showcasing Your Future Ambition and having conversations with those abroad. We're also going to be doing that with a school in Kenya so that the kids that come to the event can also talk and explain about their journey in technology, their journey in studying in Africa, and what it's like so they can share their experiences. Yeah. So this is the volunteer team that we have. This is them at the opening ceremony that we had last year, in March, just gone for the fourth event, but we would definitely welcome all of you to attend. The registration is free. It's paid for and subsidised by all of the corporates that take part, because we want to make sure that those attending don't have to pay anything because we're giving it back to them. Okay. I've got a short video now that I can show you just to give you an experience of what the event looks like. And if you have any questions afterwards, I'll be happy to answer.
I didn't know anybody who did anything that was technology related. So I ended up in the media industry. I was actually 7 months pregnant at the end of my degree. So I ended up not doing what I was going to do in the media industry. I ended up going to the business side rather than the creative side. But I look at that and I say, well, this is what's possible here today. But in going through my career, one of the things that I always was technologically curious. When I actually started my career, we didn't have computers. So I worked for Haymarket Publishing, which is the largest independent publisher in this country. We didn't have computers. We used to write on the little notes like this, and you'd kind of call somebody and you'd write your little notes on there, and then you send the facts and to confirm stuff, all that sort of jazz. When we did finally get the computers, we had a CRM system that was built for us, and I was that nosy sod who was always looking in places where I shouldn't. And then I kind of go to the tech guy going, you do realise that we could do this, this, this over here. Why does it do this and why doesn't it do that? And it's like, you shouldn't be looking there. Well, why not? And so I kind of spent my life looking at things that I shouldn't be looking at and asking questions. I want to know why things work the way they do. And kind of somewhere, along my career, I ended up in digital technology, and whilst I was selling it, in the meantime, I want to know how the heck you build it. And so here we are, a number of years later, having worked at a number of tech companies. The last company I actually worked for, that's where really my passion for product development was fueled. The one good thing about working for product development for tech companies is that if you get in early, you get to be part of the product development process. And that's the one thing that's always interested me. It's like, okay, how do you make that decision in terms of how you build it? What do you start with? People suddenly start to talk about, workflow processes, etc. And that's the bit I obsess over. What are the requirements? What are the workflow processes before somebody then go give it to somebody else to build? And the first time I actually did it was with a social analytics company. And from there on in, I always had it in mind that somehow, by hook or by crook, I was going to launch a tech company. Didn't know what, because my expertise was in media. And then at the end of last year, came together with a couple of individuals that I'd known from Silicon Street roundabouts. They're actually in finance, not in tech at all, so they've always been in finance. But I always said, if you're ever doing anything that relates to Africa and that relates to tech, let me know. So I went in and I'm like, oh, I've got this idea. I'm like, okay. It wasn't actually called Investwell, it was called something rather masculine, as men always do. It was called something that sounded like FX. And it's funny, I went in, having worked at a number of startups, you kind of get a very good feel for taking a whole idea and ripping it apart and then putting it back together again and really think about how it can work. I went in 3 hours later, ripped it up and went and walked away and said, if you could think of a name, let us know. Literally got to the tube station at Brixton and was going up, I went, oh, Investwell, 100. There's a lot of things you can do with this. Sent me along, went, that's the name, left it there. 2 days later, I went, no, don't get it. And we want you to actually come and work with us and run this thing. So I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. So since then, I've been running Investwell. And what Investwell basically does is that it connects the core and soft infrastructure developers, specifically in sub-Saharan Africa, with international institutional investors. What that basically means is Africa needs infrastructure. You can have all the lovely apps and all that jazz, but at the end of the day, if you don't have energy, you've got nothing. If you ain't got food, you've got nothing. Needs manufacturing, you've got to think about industry and how you actually build that. You need roads, you need ports, and earth you get all these products in, and how do you get them around the country, etc. So we concentrate on those projects over there. Somebody has a bright idea in terms of wanting to run it. They have we need X amount of money. Then they need to go and find the money. And if you're based in Africa, unfortunately, there's not a lot of capital that's actually around. What is there? It's expensive. So you've got to look outwards. You've got to look to the Western markets. And if you're based out there, it's not that easy to do. So you often have a lot of project developers that go around for a couple of years looking for investment, spend a lot of time going to events, spend a lot of money. And they do that year after year after year after year, and get absolutely nowhere. So what we do is we help them to do that. What I'm doing is building a technological platform to enable that. Because for me, coming from the background I come from, having worked in startups and worked in technology industries, I just kind of look and go, well, why did they do it that way? Because it doesn't make any sense. The process is so broken, it's silly. There's a lot of kind of old white dudes kind of go, this is so why? This is where we've always done it. Yeah, but why do you have to do it that way? So it's these very funny conversations with finance guys, not coming from finance, about the way they do things and the way we're going to change it. Some of them are not very impressed, but so be it. So now I'm running Investwell, which is fun and games. I spend a lot of time sitting, talking about what we're going to build, whilst I'm talking to investors, whilst talking to project developers, and using that to kind of fuel what it is that we're going to be doing. So one thing I will say is, even if you are not the designer in the room, or you're not the architect in the room, you're not the developer in the room, so what? It doesn't mean you can't run a tech company. You know, what you've got to have is a mindset and a head for it, though, because there are lots of tools that you actually bring into, you know, that whole entire process. The guys that I run this with, they're coming from African finance. They know what about technology. I'm the only one in the, you know, in that team of 4 that knows something about technology. So far, I always say I'm CEO, CPO, CRO, COO. That's my role in the company. I do wear a heck of a lot of hats. But you know, you do what you've got to do, and you learn a hell of a lot from that. And for us as a company, one of the very important things that we thought about right from the beginning was, okay, we're going to run this company, and yes, you know, we're probably a multi-million-dollar, you know, revenue-generating organisation. But actually, going back to what Rashida said, how do you then give back? What do you put back into the community? Yes, we're there to support Africa, but for us, you know, we had to think about other things that we could help with. And as a woman that comes from Nigeria and who gets very frustrated by kind of ideas about what it is a woman should do, one of the very first things we thought about is actually setting up a foundation. And that foundation specifically to help women, girls specifically, getting them into Ivy League universities, not just in the US, but across the world as well. So we're going to have a foundation that helps them to do that. And the key criteria is you would never or could never actually dreamed of going there because you're not middle class, you didn't come from money, you were never going to go there in the first place. There is a criteria that you have to meet. It's that, you know, unrealistic expectation that you initially had that you're never going to get there. And we help you to get there. We're actually going to be working with a company called Blue Rose Compass in the US to enable that. There's a lady there who runs it. She's absolutely fantastic. She's worked in the investment industry for a very long time in finance. Eventually she gave it up and said, you know what I'm going to do is going to help girls in Africa and the Middle East who never have an opportunity to go to university to do exactly that. But she used her connections that she had from working in the investment industry to do it. So actually there's all these companies that put money in to enable those girls to go to university, but also when they do them, you know, the mentors come from those institutions, they offer jobs to those girls as well. But the rule, which is funny because it's the same rule that we had, is that no matter what, at the end of that study, you have to go back home. Because you have to take that education that you've learned and you have to use it positively back home. And this is about driving leadership. You know, what we're trying to do is build the next generation of leaders in Africa, not because they have the money, but because they've lived a life that is very, very different. Their perspective is very different. You know, their experiences are very different. So actually, in terms of, you know, how they're going to approach finance or technology is going to be very, very different. So that's what, you know, one of the things that we're doing. And also, with doing that, although we're concentrating on women, we're also going to actually flip it the other way around, where we're actually going to get university lecturers to then go to a number of universities and do travelling tours. So this is where actually it doesn't matter if you're male or female. You get exposure and opportunity for that as well. So that's one of the things that we're doing as an organisation. But it's funny because I was looking at some statistics today actually, because the African Development Bank earlier this year, when they had their week-long conference, one of the key things was actually about the gender gap across Africa. And there's lots of interesting conversations that kind of took place. When you kind of look at stats, specifically concentrated in South Africa, and you look at what's happening in technology, that in 2000, so in the last couple of years, when you look at, you know, who's where, there are only 11% of women that are actually in executive roles in technology companies. 6% are in CEO roles, which in a country like South Africa, you kind of go, you know, only 6% of those CEO roles be filled by women. And then when you look at the, you know, upper quartile in terms of revenue earning, only 2% of them are women in comparison to 22% of men. And we're in 2015, you kind of think, well, what the heck is going on? You know, Africa is no different from a lot of countries out there, you know, bearing in mind, a lot of countries suffer from a gender gap, but we have an opportunity to make things different. Kenya is the outlier in the whole entire continent. 54 countries, one is an outlier, which is just, you know, which is absolutely astonishing. They're the only ones that are proactively doing something about it. And in this whole entire conversation at the AFDB during that conference, there was one, you know, there was one particular real contention point that came up. And there was a company that basically developed a product, a technology product, which was for a medical product for health visitors. They built it, it was great. They're like, well, nobody's using it. Why the health visitors not using it? And there was lots of question marks around whether you should use technology to rule African women. And you kind of think, what kind of question is that? What would you question whether you should use technology to, rule African women? Well, are they the users of technology? Well, why wouldn't they be? So another question was then raised, and that question was whether you can get a team of pale males to actually design for a mahogany female. Because they can't see, they don't understand their perspective. So how is it humanly possible for that to happen? So in asking the question of why this product action, hadn't actually been used, it was like, well, surely what you need are women who understand the perspective of those real women to actually be the creators and designers of these products. So eventually, this company actually got a female designer in who actually came up with, the answer very, very quickly, in less than a week. It was just like, well, you've forgotten to take into account, technological, environmental, and social circumstances. They basically had given these women phones that were way too big for them to be able to hide, because the distance they had to travel to get to a lot of their patients was quite long. And also, they had to think about security. So they actually tended to hide a lot of their things. And we all know what African women are like, the greatest place to hide anything. But if you can't get the phone in the bra, well, what's the point? The phone was too big to put in these women's bras, so they didn't use it. But that's a typical example of why women should be the creators, designers of technology. So what I would say to you guys in the room is, if you are in the technology space, think about what it is that you guys are going to personally do as individuals to actually help with creating and designing products that were specifically for that continent and for African women. Because there's no reason why they shouldn't use it. There are women that are in the diaspora, a lot of us over here, there's a lot that we can give back in terms of our experience and understanding to help empower those who are actually over there already. Whether it's the individuals that are in rural areas or whether it's individuals that are actually out there that are designing. There's ways we can collaborate and work together. So, have a little think about that and see, what you can do, and hopefully in 10 years' time, be able to look back and go, yeah, I did my bit, I did that. Because, as Ethel said, all of us together, when you come together and do something, it's a very, very powerful force. So, yeah, that's